Give me my theme music!
What's up, Buff Nation, and welcome into Buffs News Weekly Live and your late night post-game show. Sorry I wasn't on right after the game. I was not at home, watched the game away, hanging out with friends, doing a bunch of other things there as well. Glad that I didn't, fully give my full attention to that game. I watched a majority of it. On and off as much as I could. Glad that I had some other things coming. That's where we're at when it comes to that. Well, guys, I mean, let's get down to the brass tacks. Okay, let's just jump right into it. I'll say my piece when it comes to this. Yeah, David and I this week, we had hopium that Colorado would somehow bounce back. When the truth of the matter is, when you don't make a single change after a blowout like that, where you had players giving up, where nothing went right, where nobody performed to any expectation, you could not name a single person on that roster deep down that had a good game. And you come back the next week and you dare tell me you're going to just rewind everything back and do the exact same thing? You don't change anything on the coaching staff. You don't change your quarterback. You just, hey, it was a fluke. It was a fluke that Utah beat us by that bad, huh? No. Absolute embarrassing of this coaching staff to not make a single change. And I swear to God, you don't make a single change again this week after what we just witnessed. I don't know how you are. Something is wrong. Something is seriously wrong if you make no changes after that game. And at minimum, you're starting Julian Lewis the rest of the season. Okay, he got forced in. It's obvious that Coach Prime and the organization wanted to save Julian Lewis's red shirt. And the fact that he got in was things were that bad that he had to put him in. And what happens? Julian Lewis shows us. This is what I talked about with you guys the last several weeks that I said, because several people in my chat said that playing Julian Lewis, he's going to have the same mistakes as Kaden Salter, and we're all going to complain about him, and it's going to tear up his confidence and all of this stuff. Guys, several points to that point, okay? First off, Julian Lewis is an 18-year-old freshman. Kaden Salter is a fifth-year senior. Anybody on the internet that wants to say that Kaden Salter is this good quarterback, which, by the way, I've been seeing it all night long, people making excuses for Kaden Salter when he is a fifth-year senior. A fifth-year senior. And you're making excuses that he got benched and that's why he's so bad now? The fifth-year senior couldn't handle getting benched. Yeah, that's a quarterback I want quarterbacking my team. That sounds great. And yet, Coach Prime went ahead and did it. Much to the chagrin of these Kaden Salter worshipers. On top of that, you've got what we saw tonight with Julian Lewis going into that game. Okay? Pat Shurmur be damned. Julian Lewis goes in and flashes why he was a five-star. Flashes why he was one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the state of Georgia, who gave us the likes of college Trevor Lawrence, who gave us the likes of college Deshaun Watson, and so many other quarterbacks. And yet Julian Lewis is named in the echelon of quarterbacks, and people want to doubt what that's going to look like. This is what I was talking about. Were things perfect when Julian Lewis was in that game? No, they weren't. He had some learning experience while he was in there. But did it still look better and more controlled than the fifth-year senior? Like, what is going on with that, guys? What is going on? Lexus, don't worry. We're here. I wanted to go live tonight. I wanted to get everybody's raw reactions late at night. Wanted to see how you guys were doing. Wanted to give you guys an outlet because I know a few of you, Marcelo complaining about DNVR. I told you what's going on there. I mean, RK is as close as you're going to get to being real. And he said it himself tonight when he said the same thing I just did, which was, how did they expect this game to go any different when they didn't make a single change? He's the only one that seemingly wants to, call out or even lean towards calling out. But remember, they got to keep it somewhat correct because they can't lose their access to Coach Prime. Otherwise, that's the end of DNVR as we know it. So there's that. Okay. It looked like we're fine based on everything we've heard after the game. It might have been precautionary at that point. The game is over at that point. And Julian Lewis flashed enough for me to say, yeah, he's your starter. Just deal with it. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll wait to see what happens more this week. But Kaden Salter is officially done being a Buff. He should never see the field again. In fact, he shouldn't ever dress. He should just get his pink slip, head on out, and not return. I'm sorry at this point. He is a fifth-year senior, and we've got people on the internet bending over backwards just so that they can be right, that he is somehow this amazing quarterback. Literally seeing, and you guys will know who it is, literally seeing them comparing Kaden Salter to Jaden Daniels, and the fact that it's the system, not Kaden Salter. It's the coaching, not Kaden Salter, because Jaden Daniels was bad at his previous school before he went to LSU and blew up the world. Let's talk about all these quarterbacks that weren't good at their first school, but then they transferred and they got much better. Yeah, the difference with them were they weren't a fifth-year senior sucking it up at that first school. No, they were still needing time to develop and develop properly. To tell me that Kaden Salter is not developed as a fifth-year senior tells me everything I need to know about him as a quarterback. You come in as a fifth-year transfer, not to come in and develop, but to come in and start and operate the offense for the team that you're playing for. And if you struggle, coaching be damned, that's on you part of the way, okay? Because if Julian Lewis could come in and look that much better as a true freshman who is barely 18 years old, what does that say? What does that say? Yeah, Esses is right. What should have happened, guys, what should have happened and what frustrated me beyond belief, move the mic away, I'm sorry. What should have happened when it comes to this program and this team, okay? What should have happened is that Delaware game, when Julian Lewis goes in, he should have stayed in. Those two drives were not that bad. But the fact that you went to stop so quickly in that scenario still blows my mind. What did you see that made you say, you know what, I'm not going to give him a chance to fix things? Like, that was the shortest leash ever. Did something happen? We'll never know. But that was absolutely insane. Julian Lewis should have been starting since the Delaware game, and this season would feel a lot different, even if the record was worse. Even if the record was worse. Because at least there would be that glimmer of hope of what the future could bring when we see flashes of Julian Lewis. I've said this. The biggest difference between a fifth-year senior and a true freshman, if they play similarly, is at least I can say that the freshman still has room to develop. And as long as he shows flashes of the skill that he has, which guess what? surprise, surprise, he does. He comes in and immediately throws a long touchdown. Like, what? Yeah, Kevin, it did sound like in his press conference that there are for sure changes coming, but it frustrates me that you did not do that before this week. It really does. Byron Leftwich is nowhere to be found, Rennie. I would love it. If Byron Leftwich had been on the sideline all season long, we probably would have already switched to him. I think part of it right now is they just don't have anybody to go to for play calling. I think that's the only reason that it wasn't done sooner. You know, and he's not going to get fired. I'm telling you guys, he's not going to get fired no matter what he tries to do, because again, the university does not have $34 million to just hand over to Coach Prime to fire him. Okay. I wouldn't put Lewis Black in unless they change the play caller. Playing in a dysfunctional system will hurt him more than it'll help him. Long-term, yes, but 3 games, no, it won't hurt him that much. Okay, John, what game were you watching? What game were you watching? Juju's mom was in space a few minutes ago. She believes in the program. Hopefully it'll be changed next season. I'm telling you guys, there are players out there that believe in where this program is heading, okay? Because they see the youth movement that's happening at Colorado, and they see that the problem is the seniors. It is the older guys on this team. They're the ones quitting on this team. They're the ones quitting on in-game. They're the ones causing the problems in the locker room. The young guys have a connection. It's the reason they showed up here. I'm telling you, I've had those conversations, like I've said. You know, Alex McPherson, London Merritt, Julian Lewis, like these guys, they came here for each other and this program because they believe that they can turn this thing around and really take it to the pillar and the point that they want to see it at. I'm pissed because the biggest reason I'm pissed is because, yes, Colorado sucks and the decision making just sucks. The reason I'm even more pissed is because there's insane fans on the internet who are actually, again, like mind-blowing after these performances, coming up with the craziest excuses for why Kaden Salter is bad instead of just saying he's a bad quarterback. Like, what? What? Like, please tell me that that's not true. Yes, he did. What are you talking about, John? He literally is a true freshman, and he is making plays, including a perfect ball to Omarion Miller for a touchdown. There's tons of people online right now literally going to bat. Oh, my gosh. I get that, Kevin. I absolutely do. But again, they took their foot off the gas. He's also a true freshman that is barely 18 years old, when most true freshman quarterbacks that have been starting have been 18 for a while. Like, I'm just saying, there's multiple sides to the context. There's multiple sides to the context. Okay? I'm just saying. I am just saying. Long touchdown was a fluke. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah, I know, Coach Barry. We talked about that a long time ago. When I was at that Delaware game, I was shocked that we went to Staub so quickly. Yes, Staub came in and won the game. But let's be honest. Yep. I don't think he wants to be. I think he's got too much going on. He drug his feet too much. He didn't seem like he wanted to be here. It was more of a case of he's not getting an NFL job, so what do I do now? And Prime was like, here, let me help you. And he's just like, this isn't what I want. I want to be coaching in the NFL, not college. Okay, if you're going to just continue not offering anything in the chat, I will start to ban certain people. I will. Because literally, now I just know what you're trying to do. Exactly. And not to mention, we're going to talk about, Arizona pulled the foot off the gas or had second stringers in. Can we talk about the offensive line tonight? You know? Russ, I do have to add that sometimes when some looks so bad at the position, does not take much. That's true, Lexus. That's true. I like it. No, Rodney, I think they did. I truly did. And you know what? And honestly, at this point, we can blame Kaden Salter for ruining that plan. And Staub not, being Staub. He's a backup quarterback. He's a backup quarterback. Yeah, John, but he's a true freshman versus a fifth-year senior. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That's literally his second time ever playing. Yes, true freshmen are winning Big 12 games decisively. But they have been working to be the starter, not put in at the fourth quarter of the game and looking much better. You guys want to jump in there and do that? We can do that. I know, buddy. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. It does. Yes. To God be the glory. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. That needs to, tonight. Tonight, I need to see an announcement. I need to see an announcement that is happening. I truly, truly do. I truly, truly do. Here you go. I'm gonna do a Twitter ban because I've got somebody on Twitter that literally just, is now spamming the same darn thing. Spamming the same darn thing. Bam. That's what happens. It takes a lot. You're just going to spam it. That's what's going to happen. So there's that. Juju's pocket movement. Let's talk about it. You see, he was a freshman with some scrambling out the pocket. Juju moving forward. Yeah, Jared, that's what I mean. He is a true freshman, and he looked much more calm and collected at times in the pocket than Salter has all season long. Salter has the quickest happy feet of any quarterback out there. Yeah, Juju O-line blocking was bad too, and he was still moving very good, making very good decisions. I can't see why they didn't let this five-star take over long ago. I'm upset with that bad decision, and I am too. We're now at the point of the season where we obviously can't go back in time, but we wasted a season by not at least doing that first, because the momentum you could have got in recruiting from having a Julian Lewis have an entire season to get comfortable, to understand the offense, to understand college football, to get up to speed, which, by the way, yes, Kaden Salter's had 4 years to do. Julian Lewis, this is literally his second time playing ever, and he only got 2 series against Delaware. Yes. Petey, he absolutely should have. That is the sad part. He should have started this game. I was one of the ones that was like, yeah, they're trying to redshirt him. I can see why they're not playing him. Okay, I gave that excuse. But to go right back to Salter for this game after what happened last week and see the exact same thing. And for all those people out there that want to say, oh, Juju sucked, where's Salter, Juju got lucky. Salter had a wide open guy that he overthrew early in that game. There's a difference. Kevin, I'm not. Oh, don't put words in the mouth of this is all on Salter. I don't see anybody in the chat saying it's all on Salter. And I said, fire the OC. The OC's terrible, but he's not any better. He's not any better. And it's mainly because of this, guys. This is the reason that I will say the Salter stuff. It is the leadership aspect. It is people making the excuse that Salter is not great right now because he got benched in the second game. So you're telling me your fifth-year senior is too weak mentally to overcome being benched. Okay, you guys, that's a great recipe for a great athlete. Yep, when the chips are down and when adversity hits, that's the excuse. It's okay, guys. He's not great because he had adversity. Tell that to every great athlete in the history of sports. When adversity hits, what do? You play like crap and everyone will defend you. Never heard that in my entire life. It's just the fact that it is. See, John, I don't know what it would be. And thank you for actually asking a question. Okay? That's a little better. To be honest, it's probably not going to be that much better, if at all. But that's not the point of playing Julian Lewis. It wouldn't be me playing him to try and secure a better record. It would be me trying to develop the team for next year, which we kind of talked about but in the offseason and the preseason of that's kind of where we're moving towards. And when you look at this roster right now, the only players that seem to show up on a consistent basis, that seem to care at times, are the young guys that are going to be the future of this team. Okay? After the game. You had to do it. You had to do it. You had to do it. That's the truth. That is the truth. Anybody that know how to evaluate talent knows the kid is not it. Yep. At this point, anybody who knows nothing about football or what they're watching. Joe, I get it. I get it. Yet there's a ton of them just like licking on each other online, just loving it. Russ, put him in the game like this is sad. Recruits see that stuff. Play him early in the season. You bag more recruits like Florida did last year with top end talent. Jared, I still think we can rescue that. Okay. I'm still seeing some good responses by some of the recruits out there. Okay. Will we probably lose a recruit or two in this recruiting cycle? Absolutely. I still think we get some more recruits in, and I still think, there are some that are locked in. Trust me, they are locked in hard from those I've spoken to. Ronnie, this is a great question. I have not taken a chance to look to see, but there might be a good DC coming available. Here pretty soon. These head coaches that are losing jobs, there's a few of them that are pretty darn good college DCs. That's what I want to see happen, guys. I want to see some of the head coaches that are getting let go of programs that maybe they were not meant to be a head coach. And so they want to reload, get back to their roots, get back to the basis of what they used to do. And I think that happens by going back to what you're good at. So maybe that's OCDC. Okay. I think that's what I want to see. Okay. Robbie has the Baylor head coach as the DC. I like him. I definitely do. If he is available, that's somebody. I mean, we need people like that, guys. We need guys with a proven track record at DC, OC that got their head coaching job, but maybe they were not a head coach. I think OC stays. Juju came because of Pat. You need to understand that. Fiat, here's the problem, and we've talked about this. No matter what, Shermer was out. I think Julian liked what he had planned there. I think that's fine. I don't think Julian loses sleep or leaves because Shermer leaves. Okay? Shermer does not have a contract extension. They did not extend him. That's not happening. Okay? So Shermer is not staying. Trust me. He is not. It hurts because the daylight savings time is giving us an extra fan to be disappointed and pissed. Richie, I love it. Hey, and that's why I'm on late with you guys. Come on. I've got an extra hour of sleep. Why not hang out with the true fans out there of Colorado? We commiserate together. We chat together. We figure it out together. We move on together. And we hope that there are some changes coming. Why would Juju leave? Perfectly set up to face the program for 3 years. John, and that is the truth there. Again, thank you, John. I appreciate the little bit of a turnaround, okay? I am all fine with people calling me out, calling people out in the chat, as long as you're respectful and you actually provide stuff in the chat. It's not just straight, spamming the same things over and over again, like a few of the guys that are in the chat that have come very close to being banned in the past. But I take a lot to ban people because, hey, trolls help engagement. I'm fine with it. I would agree with that. I mean, I don't know where he's going to go, that he's going to be the starter day one versus staying in Colorado. He's the starter day one next year. So, that's what I mean. Is he going to go to Bama? Is he going to go to Georgia and all of a sudden start next year? The chances of that potentially happening, I mean, who knows? It could happen. Could also have a risk there involved. It's like we always say, and it doesn't pan out for every person that leaves Colorado. Okay. I get that. I'm going to start hearing all of the Colton Hood stuff, and I'm going to start hearing all the other stuff in the chat, I'm sure. But the fact is that there are plenty of guys that left Colorado thinking the grass was greener and ended up, not doing well for themselves. Okay. I mean, Kevin, two weeks in a row of 50 plus with no adjustments. Maybe hard. I know. I feel better about Rodney Colton, guys. I do, than Gavin Mueller right now. Gavin Mueller, I could see flipping just because of the tight end position and just because of him getting more attention. I would hope he doesn't, because again, Colorado was one of those early teams that really believed in him when, no other teams were. And now that he's exploding on the scene as a late bloomer, it would suck to lose him, but it's college football. I'm sure there are teams out there about ready to drop a massive bag for him to get him. I hope he gets a lot of money if he does flip. I do. I hope a lot of money. Kept saying Buffs coaches need to follow the Nebraska footsteps who played Dillon all last season, and he's playing more comfortable now. He's playing more comfortable, but Nebraska's not having a good year, Coach Barry. So there's that. I mean, they just lost again to a ranked opponent, and Matt Rule now moves to 0-24 against ranked opponents. So while things are bad at Colorado and we're losing big time on some of these games, I mean, at least to me, Coach Prime looks better than even Matt Rule at times. If Rule can't even get one of those victories, even at Baylor. I don't think he leaves, Barry. Like I said, I don't see a program where he goes and is guaranteed starter. That's a higher based program than CU. I don't see a top team going for him. Now, if he's fine with going to a mid-tier college, not saying non-power 4, but a lower end team in one of the big conferences, then yes, let's throw some out there, a Iowa or a Missouri or, something like that. Could I see something like that? Yeah. I mean, maybe Indiana wants him still. I don't know what that connection is. They'll need a quarterback after Mendoza. Maybe he goes to Indiana. Who knows? Yep. Robbie, I wanted to talk about this too. I was watching that interview as well. I loved what I heard from Matt McChesney. Who knows? Maybe this week I'll reach out to Matt and we'll get him on, since it seems like a lot of people are in his corner right now. More so with how things are going. I would love to get his opinion on this. And what, from a player's perspective, a true player's perspective, I want to know from him, when it comes to a player, what does that feel like when you lose by that much and nothing changes from week to week? No coaches are demoted. No coaches have to, you literally said that this game was so bad and all this stuff, and yet nobody was held accountable, essentially. Essentially, that's what happened between last week and this week, was nobody was held accountable. Nobody was, unless you're saying everybody's to blame, well then, full changes across the board. Don't just let it go. You're literally rewarding bad play and bad behavior by just going back with everybody. Marcelo, Andy Reid costume and the tarps off student section that reappeared after everybody left, which, by the way, anybody who wants to say, oh, CU fans suck, they left it. What do you expect? That is called accountability from the fans. That's saying we do not accept this losing. We have high standards. We are not going to put up with this. That is what that is. Absolutely. I think it might be happening. Jerry, that's your last strike. Last strike. We don't do that. That's what I said. That is how you get banned. Don't be cursing at people. Don't be calling people names like that. Don't be doing it. Okay? Do not be doing that in the chat. Yeah, he needs to clean house at this point. I don't think anybody in their right mind. And the funny thing is, all of his friends, all of Prime's friends that aren't coaches, all of his I guarantee you they're telling him behind the scenes, what the heck are you doing? Get rid of your staff. Do something. You will lose the team if you don't do something. Like, I don't know how Ray Lewis is not telling him that on the sidelines. I don't know how Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp are not calling up him and saying that. I don't know how Randy Moss isn't on the phone with Coach Prime this week saying, man, come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Yep. Melvin, that is absolutely correct. I'm not, no, one, I don't jump ship on this. I'm not going to be that person anyway, but I have a lot of faith and hope in next season. Okay. Right this moment. Now, ask me in 4 months. We'll see how recruiting goes. We'll see what happens with the roster. I might change my mind if some things happen, but for now, I'm still very optimistic and happy looking forward. And I'm glad that Julian Lewis got to play in this game and looked the part of a 5-star true freshman quarterback. Notice I say 5-star true freshman. 5-star in the sense that he has the skill and ability. True freshman in the sense that he's going to make mistakes and things aren't going to be perfect. They're not going to look perfect and amazing right away. Every true freshman quarterback has his moments. Jared, I'm going to be honest. Juju can go anywhere without a quarterback in the Heisman race combo for next year. I mean, he could, but does he have the tape? Are those teams truly going to do it? You'd be surprised. And we're still going to have to go somewhat portal. We're losing a lot of guys this year. And you're not going to go out and start 30 freshmen. I'm sorry, but most teams are not starting 30 freshmen the next year. So there's still going to be quite a bit of portal. I would love to see us get up to 20 recruits. 25 would be absolutely perfect. About 10 of those are not playing, guys. And that's part of the reason that Prime went this direction, was just because he was seeing the writing on the wall of these freshmen who come in, they aren't able to play right away. They leave, they go to another school, and then they start balling out because you've developed them or you've put the time in for them, and now they're doing it elsewhere. Just because, there wasn't a spot for them on the roster this season. That happens. I feel our Buffs need a new strength coach too, because our guys getting manhandled on the line. Yo-Yo got bulldozed over completely. Well, and Yo-Yo was working with a cast, guys. I mean, yeah, we're like literally bloodied and battered as a team. So that's going to cause an issue. I don't think Sapp's going to be DC. I don't think Sapp wants to be a DC, guys. I don't think Sapp wants to be a DC. That's a lot of responsibility. And he has talked about the fact that he just loves working with the kids directly and not really having to do any of that. Trust me, he is not going to be named DC. Correct, Marcelo. And in that kind of blowout, the fact that there were fans that stayed and they were pretty rowdy and ruckus, that says a lot too. So people can go, I just hope, I hope so as well, Robbie. I hope so as well. I truly do. Yeah, that's true, John. That's true. I need some action. I need some action. Yeah, you're not far off. Defense is soft and the offense can't score. Correct. This is my take, Joseph. That's all I'm looking forward to. I hope that the taking him out after the quote-unquote injury or whatever happened in his hand was, precautionary. I hope that it was like, hey, he's looking good. He's definitely going to be our starter next week. We need to work with him. We need to really game plan with him next week. For heaven's sake, if that happens, but I don't think it will. But maybe we have a new OC. I don't know, guys. There's so many things that can happen. This is the only thing I can take. This is my hopium for the night, is what this team's going to look like next week with Julian Lewis. What is the best game plan against West Virginia next week? Well, one, not start Salter at quarterback, and hope that we get some injuries back. I don't know what else to say. Correct, Echo. And that is absolutely right. That's what I talked about. That's what I've been talking about all season. That's the biggest reason that our season is where it is. When your 38 seniors are getting outplayed by your 10 freshmen, in every position that they are there, you're not going to have a great year. Because I don't care if you're the best freshman in the world. You're not going to have 10 freshmen that are best freshmen in the world, and you need that. Okay? So that's why we're like that. That's why it's like that. Well, realize he's still young. He's still developing. He is a late bloomer. He's got the size. He's at times show different things. To get thrusted into that guard position one-handed, guys, you got to realize he had an entire club on his hand. The biggest thing about blocking is you got to be able to grab on the inside. He couldn't. He could only do one hand. He was literally blocking with one hand and then just pushing. I'll give him a pass on that. Yep. We got to do something. Correct. West Virginia is not good. That's why we cannot lose to them, even no matter what happens. Trying to figure out how, because again, spaceships. I truly think that they were trying to preserve his red shirt because we were 1 week away from just saying keys to the city for Juju and keeping his red shirt. Now that's not the case, so they have to make a decision, which is why Prime said that he'll be talking with Julian's family as he's not sure what their feelings are right now on this. Because at this point, if he says, hey, he's starting the rest of the year, he's going to lose his red shirt, what do you think about that? Or his parents could say, hey, no, we want to keep his red shirt. Juju wants to keep his red shirt. Then they've got to not play him for one of those games. My bet would be Kansas State. Although if Juju goes out, plays tremendously the next 2 weeks and wins, that's going to be really hard to do at that point. That's really hard. Yep. I mean, we've been getting whipped on the outside all year. We've been getting whipped out on the outside all year. I will give it, a lot of teams will throw the bag at Juju. I know he's been stressing, which I've been seeing his sadness on that bench when media footage was showing on the sidelines. Coach Barry, he got thrown the bag last year. He got thrown the bag, trust me, way more than even CU gave him. So if you think Julian Lewis is in it for the bag, something else is going on. Trust me. And like somebody else already said, I don't know if you saw that, but Juju's mom was in one of the Twitter spaces and said that they're locked in still. They're locked in because he wants to turn this around. You know why he looks like that? Because he had to watch Salter play this whole season. That's why he looked like that, knowing full well that he's better than him. I would be pissed. I'll be honest. When I played in college, not football, remember, for those of you who don't know, but when I played college sports and I was the backup and the guy in front of me was playing like crap, yeah, I looked pissed off on the sideline because in my head, I'm like, I want to be the guy in there. You can't tell me I'm any worse than this. So trust me, I guarantee that's why he looks pissed off. Not that he looks pissed off like I don't want to be here. It's like, no, I want to play. When you're a competitor, when you're a guy who doesn't care if he gets benched or is sitting on the bench, you say, the moment that I get my opportunity, I'm going to make everybody pay. I'm going to make sure that I am the best out there I can possibly be. I'm not going to let some excuse get the better of me, which it seems like there's a lot of excuses for Kaden Salter from people. Nate Stew, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining up. Thank you. I appreciate it. You'll have to come back on Monday when we do our live phone-in show. We'll see what people have to say this week. It'll be very interesting to hear what you guys have to say on the hotline, the Taco Bell hotline this week. Speaking of which, real quick, let me just get to our sponsors. Because again, let's be honest, guys. Taco Bell could have pulled back on their sponsorship at this point with how bad the Buffs are. Okay, with how embarrassing they are. And yet, no. Taco Bell has doubled down. They're continuing. They're saying we're going all out. They said the Buff Box has been an absolute success and hit. They're running out of Buff Boxes, but guess what? They told me originally when they run out of Buff Boxes, they're going to end the partnership. Guess what they decided? They're not doing it because they believe in this team. They believe in you guys, the fans, and they want to provide something to you. So Taco Bell with the $7 Buff Box here in Colorado. But we also need to talk about right now is fall is upon us. The weather is getting colder, so Taco Bell's decided to bring the heat for a limited time. You can get Taco Bell's new flaming hot Frito grilled cheese burrito. Grilled cheese burritos, fan favorite. This edition takes it up a notch with new spicy flaming hot rice and crunchy flaming hot Fritos, loaded with seasoned ground beef, sour cream, and cheese melted on the inside. And guess what else? The outside. That's right. This burrito will be sure to delight. And if you have a group, throw in that buff box. Okay, $7, 4 items. I'm telling you guys, in this economy, in this state of life at this point now with the buffs and how bad they are, what's better than a valued meal for a cheap price? Taco Bell is also a proud sponsorship of CU Athletics and donating $1,000 to the Golden Buff Scholarship Foundation for every CU touchdown scored in 2025. Live Moss at the Bell. I appreciate Taco Bell, and I appreciate all you guys. Okay, I appreciate all you guys. Lexus, I'm not sure either. Again, it's just such a quick thing. I've seen several people tweet out that they have a feeling maybe it was like a hand cramp or something, and it, something minor that he probably could have played through. But again, the game's out of reach. They've seen what he could do. Pull him, get him ready for next week. You know what I mean, guys? That's my guess. Because he was on the field, shaking hands, saying hello to players, talking to players. That to me tells me that he's okay. If it was bad, he would have gone to the locker room and got it checked out. So that's the only hope I have when it comes to that. Okay. Aurelius, and this is what we've been talking about all year. So you get it, and most people get it. This is what I talked about all season long with Kaden Salter. When your body language is bad, when you're just not leading this team, it is hard for the team to get up around you. Okay. And it's why Staub went in and did the way that he did against Delaware and energized that team, and they got behind him a little bit. It's because he too is a leader. He just goes out and works. Okay. Does he have the skill and ability necessary to be a starting quarterback at this level? No, probably not. Okay. But Julian Lewis does have the skill and things necessary, but he also has the leadership. It's what he's been doing his whole entire life. He is made to play quarterback, guys. So it's obvious that when you see that Julian Lewis comes in, you see everybody get amped. You see the young guys on the team get amped because they know what they're here for. They are here for a future with Julian Lewis. That is why they came to Colorado. That is why they came to Colorado. I understand that. We'll see what happens. Okay. We'll see what happens. Yeah. And Echo, this happens. You live or die by the portal. 1 year you could have a great portal class. 1 year you could have a bad portal class. Okay. Last year we had a much better portal class. Chidozie Nwankwo. Okay. Our receivers, much better. LeJounte, Will Shepherd, getting those guys in was massive. You'll look at what the portal brought last year. It was more hits than it was misses. This year, a lot more misses than there were hits. The hits only came really on the offensive line. That's the main part that we hit on when it came to our transfers. You could also maybe throw in Simeon Price when he played, but the injury, sucks, and it sucks that happened. DeKalon Taylor at times showed that too. So there's definitely some hits, but a lot more misses. And when you miss on 70, 80% of the guys you get from the portal, it's not going to be a good year. So we've also got to take a look at ourselves and how we evaluate talent, because that's not good enough. The evaluation of talent was not good enough this year on top of that. It's across the board. The recruiting staff, the coaching staff, everybody needs to look at themselves, understand if they're the problem. And if I'm being honest, Coach Prime needs to figure out who the problems are and cut bait. He needs to cut bait on those and just figure it out from there. John, correct. John, I'm liking you. I'm liking you, John. We got off to a bad start, but I'm liking you. Okay? I'm liking you. Keith, appreciate you, buddy. Coming back in. Dude just still got his own hamburger. They have not had that hamburger this season. It was just a recruiting thing, but I get the joke. We need to bring it back maybe. Maybe we'll bring it back next year when he starts playing really well. I'm sure there's some players that are going to want some change. And if they're true leaders, they're going to figure something out. Because I guarantee you this too, Lamar. What's going to be funny about this, I guarantee this is how it went. Okay? I guarantee this is how it went. I guarantee you that it was the young guys in that meeting screaming and yelling at the older guys, saying that they don't care. You can't tell me that a guy like Jordan Seaton's not yelling at him. You can't tell me that a guy, Julian Lewis is quiet. I would love to hear that he was one of the guys in there yelling and screaming. Heck, London Merritt's earned it. He should go in there yelling and screaming. Alex McPherson, even though he was injured out tonight, maybe he should go in there yelling and screaming at those guys. But he wanted to be on that field, and that was embarrassing. The fact that you probably could have the young guys lead that meeting and really show what's going on shows everything we need to know about this team this year. Kansas State is trash, but knowing Colorado, they will look like world beaters. A rose a day, you might not be wrong. I mean, these next couple of games should have been, wins. I mean, West Virginia is terrible. Arizona State is now without Sam Leavitt and have Jeff Sims at quarterback. He's probably going to look like a Heisman level quarterback against us on this team at this point. And, Kansas State is in the gutter as well. These should have been 3 wins. It could have been 3 wins. We'll see. If Julian Lewis can come out and play to hit the best of his ability, we might look good. Keith, I was on the K-Salt movement at the very beginning until I saw him play against Georgia Tech. And then I'm like, something's off here. And then I was at the Delaware game, and I was like, oh, the same thing's happened. I don't like this. And then they benched him. And, I said even then, I don't think you can go back to him because I don't know what this benching will do to him. I don't know if he's that type of guy. I don't know if he's a dog. He's not a dog. Keith, you are absolutely right. Appreciate you, Keith. Appreciate you for being a member of the channel as well. If we win the last 3, that's a bowl game. Yes, correct. It is correct. But like you said, that red shirt might be the factor in Juju sitting out that last game after winning the next 2. The coaches are in a pickle of a spot now. They're in a pickle of a spot now. If you were waiting this whole time to save his red shirt and that happened tonight, not looking good. A rose a day. The good takeaway is, I think we've got a future with Julian Lewis. That's my takeaway. I think I saw enough that I'm excited for Julian Lewis to develop and take over this program for the good or for the bad. Because I know I have multiple years of Julian Lewis. Like, I keep saying this. This is who Kaden Salter is on this team. There's no changing that. There's nothing you can do about that. You're not wrong there, Lamar. You're not wrong there. Yep. The edge room. Like I said, London Merritt and Alex McPherson are outplaying even these guys. Jesus, I hope not, John. Yep. And they didn't have anybody step up. Yeah, I would agree with that. Eugene, you're absolutely right. And I think what they hoped was Kaden Salter would be one of those leaders. Your quarterback should be your leader. And when your quarterback isn't, guess what? You're screwed. He's still trying to portray it. Everybody's still trying to portray it tonight. It's sickening to me. They're now blaming the benching of Kaden Salter against Delaware as the reason that Kaden Salter is not playing well. Yep. It's Pat Shurmur and it's the benching's fault. It is not Kaden Salter. That I don't know. Let's just go with some running backs. That's frustrating. Russ, could you tell what happened to Juju's hands? How did he hurt it? I could not. And see, Lexus, that's my point of I think it might have been a hand cramp. Okay. That might be the wise thing. I'm hoping. Because it wasn't directly that we could see it involved. I could see that too. We're all, Coach Barry. That's going to be the talk of the offseason. Screw recruiting. Screw the portal. I want to know who's calling the plays next year. That's what I want to know. Because all of that other stuff could be completely pointless if we don't have a good play caller. No, so Major, he didn't technically today waste his red shirt, okay? He has now played in 2 games. Mind you, he's only played in like 6 series total in those 2 games, which is part of the reason this sucks. He can play up to 4 regular season games. Okay. My thought heading into this game and why I wasn't like mad beyond belief that Julian wasn't starting this game was that Julian Lewis would start the last 3 and keep his red shirt and things would be fine. So right now, if he finishes out the season and plays in every game from here on out, yes, he would lose his red shirt the last game of the season against Kansas State, which is why some people are talking about if we get to that point, maybe you sit him for that last game to just keep his red shirt because it's just 1 game. So there's that. Guys, you guys are killing the chat. I absolutely love it. Okay. If you truly want I'm going to try and catch up to this. Okay. If you truly want your comment read, you can always super chat it like Coach Barry did tonight. I appreciate that from you, Coach Barry, big time. Trust me. That's why, Keith, you weren't here earlier, but several people said that they came over to watch my stream simply because they were done with DNVR tonight. Because again, when a lot of them can't give their true feelings, and when they have Uncle Neely on, who literally cannot say anything negative about this program, truthfully, it becomes hard to watch that. Yeah, I know. Pat Shurmur, of course, he's the problem. But Ben Salter's still missing stuff. Rodney, yes, there was a bunch of recruits at the game, by the way. Like Matt McChesney was there with his whole crew. There was about like 10 kids from Colorado that were at that game. Not necessarily 2026 kids, but future kids too. There it is, Lorenzo. There it is. Peter. Love you, Peter. Love you. My all-time favorite troll. You're not really a troll. Trolls obviously don't provide anything. At least you have this comment here too. Hit the like button. I appreciate it, Coach Barry. Please do, guys. Hit that like. 300 people watching right now. I appreciate you guys. Joseph Melendez coming in. Melendrez coming in with the $5. I just call you Joseph, but I'll do the full name for the 5. I appreciate you as well. Coach Barry, I was done with DNVR a long time. Here, Coach Barry, I love the guys at DNVR. I do. I love the guys. Mike, no, it didn't. He's literally talked about how he's talking with his parents about what they want to do red shirt wise, and they're going to talk about it. On top of that, we've already spoken and saw words from Julian Lewis's mom tonight, and she said that he's locked in. He's not going anywhere. Okay, they want to right the ship. They want to be a part of that righting the ship, and they believe that Julian can still do it here. So, I don't fully agree with this. I don't think Matt McChesney would mesh with this staff, would mesh with Prime, would mesh with this program and what they're doing right now. Is Matt a great offensive line, defensive line coach, trainer for the high school guys? Absolutely. I will say that 100%. I know he is. I know kids that have used his program because, again, I lived in his neck of the woods for a long time. I know his reputation when it comes to training kids. That stuff is there. I don't know. I don't think he could have meshed with this thing. And that could be bad and good. That could. But I think he's definitely has the right feelings this week. I loved what he had to say this week about last week's loss. I'm going to be interested to see what he says this week. Again, I might reach out to him and, hey, we'll host him for a stream this week if he's available and wants to. He's told me he would before. So maybe we do that and we have a conversation. I respect him. That's the key. And I've told him that in messages before. We've been talking back and forth. It's like, I don't have to agree with everything that you say. I don't have to agree with every viewpoint you have because I don't. But I can respect your opinion. I can respect what you believe. And of course, you're a player. You played in the NFL. You played in college. You were a buff. I respect the heck out of that. I respect your football takes, your direct football takes. I 100% respect that. There's that too, Crash Davis. There's that too. When you see a program in shambles, but, potential, especially in the younger end, you see that you could play early. You could be a playmaker early. There's guys that like that. Kevin, that's what I've said all along. I said things are not going to be perfect under Julian Lewis. Things are not. I want to just see flashes. I want to see flashes of who Julian Lewis could be as a true freshman. That's it. I'm not asking for him to light the world on fire and look that much better than Salter. The difference that I keep bringing up this entire stream is that Kaden Salter is a fifth-year senior and Julian Lewis is a true freshman underage. Like, Julian Lewis has a lot of time to develop and a lot of time to figure things out and get comfortable. This is Kaden Salter's peak. This is Kaden Salter's peak. It's not like this is his first year starting college football. He is a fifth-year senior with a lot of experience. I don't know what happened there. He has his own personal interests. I don't blame him. That's part of his business. See, Khalil Benson, I think it was a system issue. We tried to keep him. I don't think he plays as well as he is this year in Indiana. And the Colton Hood stuff, again, we don't know the whole story with that one. We all assume what happened with that. All right. Yep. Coach Barry, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you. See, I love RK because he at least tries to be real as much as he can. You can see he has to pull it back in. He reins himself back in. He's smart because, guys, this is his paycheck. This isn't my paycheck. Like, you guys give me a couple bucks. I buy some drinks off this. I enjoy myself. I upgrade the stream for you guys to get this as quality as possible when it needs to be. This isn't my livelihood. Talking about the Buffs on YouTube is not my livelihood. It is DNVR's livelihood, and if they do not do it properly, they could lose that livelihood. So I get it, guys. You got to give him a pass. You got to give him a pass. You do. Jerry, we've had parents come on there and say exactly that. So, yes, absolutely. I do think they would say that. Mike, you also said that Deion was leaving last year. Do you not remember? We've had this conversation. You said that Deion was leaving last year after his kids left. So you weren't right about everything about Sanders. Yeah, Eugene, a lot of them are. Preston Ashley is my dude. I need to reach out to that kid and see if he'll come on the show because that dude is a buff through and through. He is locked in. And he makes sure to let everybody know each and every day while the other guys are doing other visits and other stuff. Preston Ashley is locked in. Yeah, that's what I mean. The Matt Machese stuff, I don't think he'd work well here. Okay? He does keep stuff 100. Sometimes, though, that doesn't mesh with everybody's personality. Hey, I'm fine with Mike being here. He's probably my favorite Nebraska fan. Mike's been around for a long time. He comes to all these. It's because secretly he's a CU fan deep down as well. And I know. We'll move on from there. Yeah, I'll see I'll reach out to him, see if he's still interested. I'd love to get his view and opinion and have that conversation. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Yep. Even with the 2 50-point losses, we're still not as bad as 22. No, Peter. See, I've seen a couple Buffs fans say that, and I'm like, you don't remember how bad it was, okay? Yes, we just got blown out by 50 points. We've still won 3 games. We won a game against a ranked opponent during this season. That team was not doing that, and that team was losing every single game by 30 points or more. Before these 2 blowouts, we were losing games by 7 and 3 points. So, trust me, right this second and the way this team's playing, absolutely. We keep allowing 50 points and losing by, 30-plus points. Yes, we would be the same as them, but it's 2 games still. People forget. People forget just how bad it was. Keith, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I saw Carson back tonight. Holy crud. Z-Mac, I would agree with that. I would agree with that, especially how it started off, especially because this is a response game. How are they going to respond? You're absolutely right. This is worse than last week. And Arizona is not as good as Utah is either. And they just had their way with us again. I get it. Everyone's allowed to have an opinion. Being a fifth-year senior, those were red flags. I should have had them pass on him, man. Juju was a 5-star, which is hard to get. You play them no matter what. Yep. SC beat the Corn, and Matt Rule moved to 0-22 or 0-24 in his career against ranked opponents. At least we don't have that bad. We don't have that going on. Could have been Eugene. At San Diego State. I'll say it again. At San Diego State, and in the Mountain West. At San Diego State in the Mountain West. People keep summoning all this, acting like Sean Lewis was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Yeah, where was Sean Lewis last year? Oh, yeah, not doing well there either. He lost his starting quarterback that he took from CU, who went on to play at Wisconsin this year. Like, there's a lot of things. I am not regretting Sean Lewis not being the coach. The fact is, they should have never named Pat Shurmur the coach. If we get anybody else, you guys are not even talking about Sean Lewis and San Diego State. Okay? Sean Lewis can coach really well at the G5 level. That is who he is. Correct, Seth. Correct. You know? Correct. Some people can't understand just how bad it was. I mean, they look at even on paper and you look at the stats, how bad that team was. You don't realize it. You watch that team like we did. Trust me, it's still not as bad as that. It's what's the reason why we're more upset now is because now there is an expectation. We now have an expectation. That team had no expectations. We did not. I mean, that is literally what that team was. No expectations. Correct, Lexus. Peter, I can agree with that. That's part of the problem of what we've been talking about. There's no leadership on this team. The older guys are giving up very quickly. Very, very quickly. Love it. Unspoken, I don't know what it is, but I think they just like to point out every little negative they possibly can and act like it's, a foregone conclusion easy. Okay? Correct. It's only loud when, Sean Lewis's team is now winning in the Mountain West. That is pretty bad this year, guys. The Mountain West is pretty bad this year. I get that, but I'm also, I am a longtime Buff fan. I can always give credit where credit is due, okay? I would not have this platform without Coach Prime, okay? A lot of stuff would not have happened without Coach Prime. I would not say CU was a nothing, but we were pretty down close to it. And you guys got to understand, I say this every time, without Coach Prime, we would be in the Pac-2 right now, getting ready to merge with the Mountain West with no TV deal worth a lick and the college landscape moving towards a super league. And at least Colorado can be in the conversation in that versus what we would have been. Monday, Z-Mac. It'll just be Monday. Monday will be the closest time that we'll have that. Coach Barry, again, appreciate it. Tired of the running backs and quarterbacks running over our buffs like Ralphie. Goodbye, Livingston. Yeah. I was a Livingston lover. It took me a long time, but 2 weeks in a row of just allowing that and looking like you have no answer. I've lost faith in that. I did see Georgia Tech get beat tonight. I did see that. It's true too. There's that too. Yeah. Z-Mac, you get it. Longtime Buss fans, we know that this program was heading in the wrong direction. Coach Prime has rescued that no matter what. I've heard people say that Coach Prime has set us back 5 years. I mean, like, you guys don't understand where we were at. Like, I will never say that Coach Prime set us back. Coach Prime got the school to change transfer rules. Coach Prime has brought in more money than this school has ever seen in the history of its program. Coach Prime got us a TV deal and a spot at a Power 4 conference when things were looking bleak. Not only did he get us a spot, he got us extra money from getting that spot over the other teams that moved. Teams like Arizona and Arizona State did not get paid as much as Colorado did to join the Big 12, guys. There's a lot I can go down the list and always say that he did, no matter what. Keith. Yep. Keith, I think that's something we can't talk about enough. Coach Prime out for 3 months, I think, hurt this a lot more than we care to say. And honestly, that's why I think some of the recruits are staying locked in. I think they're talking to Prime. I think they're, understanding that Prime's probably saying, hey, listen, it's my bad. I'm going to be more hands-on. We're going to fix this. We're going to solve this. Just hang in there. I agree with that, Keith. Good point. Good point. Space. That's your one warning. One more. You're gone. Don't be using that. Correct, Eugene. Correct. I mean, we literally 5 stars were not a thing at all. What changes as a lifelong fan I need to see Livingston and Pat on a beach in Cancun by Wednesday. Agreed. I think we all agree on that, Z-Mac. Everybody is at that point. Yep. Got a better TV deal out of it. CU had at least 4 guys in the hand cast. Why is this team so banged up this year? What can CU do to prevent injuries without losing their physicality in the field? That's a tough one. Are they practicing too hard? I don't know. I don't know what goes on. I guess we're not seeing as much as, Bucky said this week, we're not seeing as much from the practices as we think. Who knows? What are your take, Prime not knowing or discussing with Juju about his redshirt status? I think what he meant by that, Trickster, and I've talked about it, is at this point now, he is up, like he could burn his redshirt. I think they were waiting to play him the last 3 games, if I'm being honest. And I think that now that they put him in this game, he looked pretty good. They now have to have a strong conversation of what's going to happen these next 3 games, because they have to make sure that he is willing to burn that red shirt. Coach Prime's not just going to force him to burn that red shirt. He's going to talk with Julian. He's going to talk with Julian's dad, his family, see what they want to do. That's what he was talking about, is we're going to have a conversation about this, because we now have a wrench in the situation, which is he played in this game because I was forced to play him in this game, because our other quarterbacks completely crapped the bed and I couldn't stand it anymore. And so I put him in. He looked pretty good. Not perfect, but that's what he has to figure out now. So that's what's going on with that. See, Joseph, this is where it's a little bit incorrect. Julian Lewis wouldn't have needed that red shirt truly if he was a regular aged freshman. The fact that he left school early to come to college and play is different than every quarterback out there. Okay. Dylan Raiola, DJ Lagway, those guys did not skip a year of high school to come to college. So when you look at that, that's kind of the issue and why red shirt is an option and talked about. Okay. Because I've said this too many times. I find it very difficult, unless you are literally a Heisman winning quarterback that is absolutely exploding on the scene, which very well, could that happen? Yes. Okay. But I don't see an NFL team drafting a 19-year-old quarterback. Okay. I don't see them drafting a 19-year-old quarterback, especially not at the top of the draft. And that would be their goal. So for Juju's development, for his ability to hit the NFL, and just in case he injures himself one of those years that he has left, you want to always have that red shirt in the back pocket just in case too. So there's 2 sides to it. Oh, I mean, Keith, he's had that problem all year. He's had that problem all year. That's true too, Dante. And Sincere's a senior. He's one of the problems, guys. And Ben, I think Juju's going to have Juju and his family are going to have probably a big input. I wouldn't be surprised if Julian Lewis's quarterback coach joins the staff. If they want Julian Lewis to stay and his family's like, hey, bring in this guy, they probably would. They probably would. I do think they practice too hard. Prime has to understand Tays Baller's not tall enough. And what's funny is so many people say that they don't practice hard enough, that they don't know how to tackle and hit and all this stuff. Who knows? Electron, trust me, I am 100% still on board with Prime. I am not going to be somebody that's going to call for his head ever on this page. Okay. It would take a lot for me to get to that point. Maybe Robbie, and his contract's up. Like I said, they're just going to let him walk. Just going to let him walk. No, not correct. Bryce Underwood early enrolled, but he did not skip. Did he skip a year? Hold on. Let's see. He is 18 years old. August. Maybe he did as well. So was he a 2026 quarterback and dropped to 2025? He also has a different size than Julian Lewis. That dude was an adult. An adult! Juju's not gone. Juju is not gone. Man, we literally just talked about that. He did have a broken hand in high school as last year. That was an issue. Maybe that's why he hasn't played yet. Maybe he was dealing with some stuff getting ready. I see a Prime fans passing the block and blaming everyone. Yes, Prime fans are Lulu. Marcel, what do you want? What do you want from them? I can blame Coach Prime, but he's the one that's got to fix it. That's what I'm saying. Talk too much. Yeah, I can see that. I could see that. There we go, Seth. Underwood did play all 4 years in high school. Juju only 3 years in high school. Juju is staying. Sure, things can change overnight. Yeah, if Coach Prime is gone all of a sudden, then yeah, Juju's not staying. But as of right now, Juju is staying. That is the point. I do like all the conspiracy theories with Kaden Salter. Like the person's comment earlier with the, Salter and Chauncey Billups are, best friends. True, Eugene. That's what I want to see. Action. Coach, do something. If you're wrong, if you're to blame, do something. You don't sit pat. That'd be nice for the what we have going on. Man. Crash, I love it. Oh, I do, guys. You know what? It's been fun hanging out with you guys tonight. I really do appreciate it. Hey, make sure you hit that like button while you're in here. Make sure you guys are subscribing. I do appreciate that. Last couple of weeks, horrible losses, and yet you guys have shown up when it comes to the subs still. Last year I lost so many subs when we lost games. This year, quite the opposite, which I do appreciate very, very much. Okay, guys, very, very much. I think we're going to call it for the night. Hey, Monday afternoon, if you're in here, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. Monday, 4:30 Mountain. The Buffs News live radio show. You'll be able to call in just like you would any ordinary radio show out there. Give your opinions live on the air. I've always said this. You can only put so much in the chat, but this is your chance to call in, get that attention from everybody, be able to speak your mind, and be able to say everything what you are feeling right now and what you want to see. And who knows, maybe in the next 48 hours, we get some decisions. Maybe in the next 48 hours, we get some decisions on this team that we can talk about. Maybe we finally get to hear if the coaching staff is going to change. Maybe we finally get to hear if Julian Lewis is the starter for the rest of the season, guys. But until then, I appreciate you guys. I get it, Marcel. You're good. You're good, Marcel. I appreciated you tonight. I appreciate you jumping in, being here. Okay. Kevin, I'm ready. I'm ready. Bring it on, everybody. Bring it on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Appreciate you guys so much for Buffs News Weekly Live. I'm your host, Russ, as always, and forever. Sco Buffs. Love you guys. I'll see you on Monday.